everyone. I hope you are enjoying the homemade Christmas series. This will be the last video for this year of 2021 for the Christmas series. Before we get into advent calendar making, one of my viewers brought to my attention that I forgot to tell you about the tote bag. I didn't tell you. Okay, so you remember this is the giveaway. This little tote bag. And over the last, well, I think it's 15 videos in total, there is things put in the bag. And I haven't really been showing you what they are. So for the giveaway, you get the tote bag. And the tote bag that I made, I used, and this is the part the viewer said, they said, you didn't tell us what pattern you used. So it's a Vogue pattern, and it's from 1986. Yes, from 1986. And I made this one. I made these, didn't like them, but this one, I kind of like it, but it's smaller than I expected. But it's still a nice size. Make a nice project bag, especially for knitting or crocheting, or, well, it could be useful for a whole bunch of things, couldn't it? So that was the pattern that I used to make that tote bag. I always wanted to try it. So there's that. So what is in, let's see if I can do this in order. So we made the cider mix. So there's some cider mix with the directions. So that's in the tote bag. The stockings, I have a red one, and for the gift cards or whatever else you want to put in there, we have the button ornament. Actually, it'll fit in the sock. So those are in there. Little felt button ornament, which would be good to use for an advent calendar. So that is in there. I have to wrap all this stuff up. We have the candle from that Natalie so kindly donated when she came to visit us with her embroidery of her little polar bear. She gave us one of her wooden wick candles, and they sound like a crackling fire, which they really do. They're really cool. So you get one of these, plus the information on how to look after your candle and information about it, so you know what it is. And then Chelsie, who came to visit us, gave us this pumpkin jingle necklace, little bell. So I gotta wrap this up all nicely in a box and put that. That is in the tote bag. And in the tote bag, you also get a tote bag. Is there anything else in here? No. The gift bags that I made, you get one of these. You also get a cinnamon ornament. You get some fabric from Men's Fabrics from my fabric shop. So that is fabric to make one of the shower kits or boxer short, well, one of each. So there's enough fabric in there to make a shower kit and enough fabric to make boxer shorts. So the fabric will be a surprise, hopefully. So I think that is it. So that will be sent to a very happy subscriber, I hope. So that is the giveaway prize. Making your own advent calendar is what we're going to be talking about today. To give to somebody. So, I have all these paper bags. So the first thing I did was cut the bottom out of the bag. I gave it a little iron. So I cut the bottom of the bag on one side, so a big piece of paper. So you could use parcel paper, like brown paper, to like a roll of it to do this. But paper bag is just, they're all the same length, like size of a paper bag with the bottom out. Fold it in half. I marked it off. Those are about 4.5 inches. Then, let's see, I sewed down either line, so it's going to make a pocket. And so I need 24 of them. I'm always sticking my glasses in my hair, and then I get these things, my hair is sticking up. It's bugging me. Okay, so yes, so I marked the lines, 4.5 inches. Sew down this side and then this side. And yes, I used my sewing machine. I will be getting rid of the needle afterwards. So I'm going to take a marker and put a 1. Well, I'm going to mark them all, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 24. So, and I use these scissors that have this design on them. They're for paper. So I have all my, so then after you sew, I just carefully cut down the center, but you could use a regular piece of paper, use a regular pair of scissors, like paper scissors, obviously. And so you could also use envelopes. If you had a whole bunch of envelopes or odd size envelopes, you could do it that way. So the next thing that well, first I should tell you, last year I made 2 advent calendars, and I kind of made them the same. And what I did was, I used trivia questions, like Christmas trivia questions, and I kept track of all the answers, and I didn't give them the answers, so I had to talk to the person I gave them to almost every day or every other day, so they could find out if they got the answer right or not. Obviously, you could look it up on Google if you wanted to, but that's not the point. And that's what I think is great about advent calendars, is I think it's important to have an activity, and especially last year with COVID and people were in lockdown, people were separated from other people when Christmas time is supposed to be a time where people come together. It made it hard for some people. So, and the fact that I kept the answers and didn't give them the answers made it interactive. So, 2 things, an activity and interactive. So, I guess I didn't tell you what the activity part was. So I gave them Christmas ornaments that they had to make. Arnie and Carlos, they always release a knitting pattern, and I think last year I bought their Christmas ball knitting pattern, and I divided it up through the Advent. So like the first day they get a ball of yarn, second day they get a second ball of yarn, next day they get half the pattern, like, so they knew what it was for, and they got some bat, and they got everything to make the activity. So you could just do the trivia questions and a treat, or you could do an activity and spread it out over the 24 days. Or you could just do an activity for each weekend. Like, it could be a recipe, like say you're giving the calendar to children or to a family. Like those felt ornaments, you could put in all the pieces for the felt ornament, and they can work on it on the weekend and make an ornament. So that's what I like about the style of advent calendars. You can give an activity, and plus you can do puzzle. Now, it's something I wanted to do this year, but it would require me to put the puzzle together, and I'm running out of time. I think this is a couple days before I have to give these away. So, but yes, if you got a puzzle, put it together and then take it apart in sections and put the puzzle pieces in your envelope, and they have like 5 or 6 pieces to put together every day. Like well, if it was 500 piece puzzle, I think you need to give like 21 pieces each day. So I would, to not be mean, you would have to put the puzzle together and take sections of it apart, and then take it apart and put it in the bag. That was something I wanted to do this year. I'm a little disappointed I didn't get it done. But there's always next year. So this year, I think I'm just going to do the trivia again. And I'm just going to put in a treat, because I don't have time to put a puzzle together. But the trivia is still fun. And then you get to talk to the person almost every day or every other day. But it's important to keep track of the. And now last year I just wrote down the answers, and they would assume that I knew what the question was, but I didn't write down the question and couldn't remember it. So this year I'm going to make sure I know what question I give them, because I just gave them I just knew what the answer was and couldn't remember the question. So that caused, because eventually they just, when you call, like after 12 days, it becomes a thing. And that's the first thing they talk about. And they'll say, well, I thought blah, 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 so I'm going with this answer. And you don't know what they're talking about. So that makes it kind of fun. So, yeah, so I'm going to give you an example of. So I have this book, Quizmas, Christmas Trivia, but I'm sure that you can look questions up online and find out the answers that way. And I've done this before. I used to do pick 10 questions out of the book and type them all up and put them in my Christmas card. But some people don't like trivia. So I used to, anyway, it became a thing. So I stopped doing that. So, okay, I have a question, but I have to find the answer. Let's see. Okay. This one's probably an easy one. In which country was the carol Silent Night written? A, Germany, B, Austria, C, Switzerland, or D, Prussia? So the answer is Austria. So a lot of you probably already knew that. So that's just an example of some of the questions. Okay, here's a fun one. Because these come in different levels. Like for children to teenagers to like things, and it's in sections. It's kind of strange how they put it together. So here's another question. And I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus. Where was Santa when Mommy kissed him? A, on the stairs. B, underneath the mistletoe. C, in the chimney. Or D, by the Christmas tree. So, oh crap, I don't even really know the answer to that. I better look it up. And the answers are never right where you think they're going to be. Six. So if you said underneath the mistletoe, you got it right. So that's just an example of some of the questions. They're kind of fun. Some of them are about music and hymns, and there's some questions about nativity, everything. So you can get a variety. So I have to be careful how I keep track of my questions and my answers. So that is a bit of work, especially where you're doing 24 and you got to make sure you get it in the right number of the right. So I have to get myself situated here so I can finish getting my questions all ready and put in the little bag. All right. And after I number all these, I'll number them all. I'll put my things in, and then I'm just gonna sew across, or you could just fold it down and tape it, especially if you had like, or maybe have Christmas stickers or something like that. So I'm probably gonna sew mine and then just cut the uneven part off. So I hope that gave you some ideas for some Christmas advent calendars, and it's something that you could get your family and kids to help you put them together. Decorate the bags, very inexpensive thing to do, and you could just buy envelopes to put a little puzzle in, because you can even make your own word search puzzles, and yeah, like something for children to do. So I hope that gave you some ideas for making an advent calendar. I will see you on December 5th for the draw for the giveaway. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.